So the First Descendant is a game with dozens and dozens of different materials and items you have to go farm to combine together to craft the items you're actually looking for. You have to go farm a dozen different items to craft a new Descendant. You have to go farm dozens of different items to craft ultimate weapons. And knowing where to go and what content to complete to obtain these items can get pretty confusing. So in this video, I want to go over how you can easily find all of the information you need to farm any item in the First Descendant. And pretty much all this information is going to be located in game. It's just hidden behind menu after menu. So the first thing we're going to be looking at, you're going to go to your map to find. So you go to your map, you go over to the left, and you have access info. Now this is going to give you information on how to find a majority of the items in game. So let's say we're looking for a specific module for one of our characters. So let's say you're playing Viessa and you're trying to get the Glacial Cloud module. You can either search for modules by name of character. You can even have different filters to go by rarity. So let's say you get to the module you're actually looking for, then you're going to press F or whatever that keybind is on consoles for acquisition info. Now this is going to take you to this menu, and this is going to tell you everywhere that can drop this item. Now with some items, you'll also see this red arrow with an X in the middle. This means that these were one-time things you were able to do. Usually this is just showing that you went through one of these missions in the main campaign, but you're not able to complete the free version of this that you did through the campaign. But all of these other sections are going to have all the information you need to know how to get this item. So let's look at this first option. It says Agna Desert, so that's the location. It says normal, so that's a difficulty between normal or hard. Most of the things in the game will be able to be obtained in both normal and hard. And then it's Void Fusion Reactor, which is the activity category or name of those type of activities. And then Agna Desert Vermilion Waste, which is the name of that specific activity. And then you'll see at the end, there's another piece of information that's actually very important. This one says complete. This means that the item you are looking for, in this case being Glacial Cloud, can be obtained from completing this activity listed here. But then when you go down to some of the other options, like right here, we have Kingston, the location, hard, which is the difficulty, and Kingston Communications Repeater. So this is another one of the missions located in the Kingston area, but this also lists this as Mission Monster. This means that you will be able to obtain the Glacial Cloud item from killing any of the monsters within that mission. So just any of the enemies. This also means that completing this activity won't give you a chance to get this item. And that's actually one of the most important parts, because this will also dictate the actual missions you want to go farm. Because if you're doing a mission that you can complete in like 15 seconds, but you can only get the item from monsters in that mission, that really wouldn't be a good activity to go farm, because you can't get it from completing it. And there's also a distinction when you actually look at the mission you're looking at. So this mission right here, the Slumber Valley in Kingston, says you'll be able to get Glacial Cloud from completing it. So if you click on this, it'll show you what mission it is. Now on the mission card, if you're able to obtain the item from completing, it will show you that item on the mission card with an acquisition chance. So on hard difficulty from Slumber Valley, we can get Glacial Cloud with a 2.5% chance to get it from completing that mission. But then if we go back and look at a mission where you would obtain it from one of the mission monsters, and we click on that mission, on the card of that mission, it won't show the item you're looking for, because the rewards on the card of the mission are only the completion rewards. So you'll still be able to obtain, so you'll still have the chance to obtain the item you're looking for. It just won't show on the card because these are only the completion rewards. This also means that we don't know the drop chance of items when it comes from mission monsters. And this is basically how you're going to find most items in the game. So if we want to go unlock a new Descendant, let's say we go and click on Glade. When you're looking at things where you have to craft something with a bunch of resources, this is the window it shows. So these things at the left here are an item you have to craft. It'll also show the craft time on them. And the items on the right are all the items you need to start the craft of the left item. And when you have all 4 of these left items, you can then start the craft to also unlock Glade. And if you look at these items that you need to craft for and you click on acquisition information, it will have nothing here because you need all of these other resources to the right. But all of these other resources to the right, you just scroll over them, you click F again, and that will again show you everywhere you can can get these different items. And all of these different items are going to come from probably different things. Like this item for Glay, you would get from some of the intercept battles, but you would also need the amorphous material for that intercept battle. And if you don't know what the item you need is, you can also click on this card. It will then bring up the amorphous material you need. It will tell you if you own any of them and how many you own, and then it will tell you how to obtain this amorphous material. So then we could click on this, it'll show us the location we would have to go farm to get that material as well. So like I mentioned, pretty much all the information you need to obtain these items is located in game. It's just hidden behind menu after menu. We have to go through like 5 different menus to actually get to this item, and then to learn what item we can get the item we're looking for from, and then we can look at the mission that gives us the item that we need to then go defeat the boss with, and then crack open that item that then has a chance to give us the actual item we're looking for. So it does get a bit confusing, but using this information you have, you shouldn't have too big of an issue finding the activities that can actually drop the items you're trying to farm for. And like mentioned, these menus will include most of the items in the game, all the way down to the most basic of resources. Now, if you're specifically looking for weapons, these menus only have ultimate weapons, and there's currently a bunch of builds that aren't even using ultimate weapons. If you're looking for an ultimate, it's going to be pretty much the exact same as if you were looking at a Descendant. You have all the materials to the right, you need to craft the item to the left. Once you have all 4 of these left items, you can then craft your ultimate weapon. Now, if you're looking for all of the rare weapons in the game, you're just going to have to look through all of the different maps of the game. And because there's a lot more missions in the game than there are weapons, a lot of missions will share different weapons. So you have a lot of different ways to go farm for the weapons you're actually looking for. Now, if you're looking for a specific rare weapon, you're just going to look through missions and you're going to scroll down to the rewards for completing that mission, and it will usually show you 2 different weapons. So this mission can give the Blue Blood Bloomer and the Immediate Execution, and those will be the main weapons you'll obtain for running through this mission and completing it. You'll notice that when you're running specific missions, you're usually only getting a handful of different weapons from that. That's because all the different missions are focused on dropping specific weapons. So pretty much every different mission will have different weapons, but you'll be able to farm that weapon from a bunch of different missions. So for instance, from this mission, you can get the Tamer, which is one of the best weapons in the game. But if you go down here to this mission, you can also obtain the Tamer from this mission. So tons of different missions will share some of the same weapon drops. It just comes down to you either finding the most efficient mission to farm or looking for missions that also have some other item you want to farm while also farming for the weapon you're looking for. But that's not the only pieces of information you have access to, because once you complete the main campaign and get into hard mode, you actually have a bunch of information on how to farm some other very important items. And for this, you're going to go to your map, you're going to go to your world map, and you're going to look at any zone. Now, once you get into a zone, at the bottom menu, there's going to be an option for difficulty level rewards, whatever keybind that is for whatever system you're on. You're going to click that, and that's going to bring up a bunch of new menus that look incredibly confusing. If you go down to the bottom right again, there's going to be an option to look at all rewards, and this is going to bring up this menu. Now, this menu also is very confusing, but this gives you a lot of information. Now, the main thing you're looking for when looking at these menus is what gear pieces are going to be dropping. Not your weapons, but things like your reactors, your memory, your sensors, all of those kind of gear pieces that are on the right side of your inventory. So if you go to your inventory on the right side here, you have your reactors, and then you have all your external components. You have your auxiliary power, you have your sensor, you have your memory, and you have your processor. So all of these different items are pretty important for your build. They all have a bunch of different stats and modifiers that will affect how strong different parts of your build are. And if you've gotten into hard mode yet, you may have realized that specifically with reactors, you get reactor drops absurdly fast. Pretty much any activity you're doing in hard mode will constantly just be spamming reactor drops, and even more specifically, spamming all ultimate reactor drops. And this menu is the reason for that, and this is explaining how it works. So you have these 4 different sections. You have A, B, C, and D, and they all have timers on them. We're currently in A. In a day and 2 hours, it'll switch over to B. In 8 days, it'll switch to C. In 15 days, it'll switch to D. Now, this is going to change where you can go and farm to get specific loot. And as you can see, most of it is reactors, but there are some sections you can farm the different items. Like when we're on C, we could go farm Kingston and we could farm auxiliary power. If you scroll down more, we could go farm in the fortress and get auxiliary power here. So depending on the schedule section we're on, whether it be A, B, C, or D, you're going to have different places that drop the items you're looking for. Now, specifically for reactors, because this is the main thing that's being changed with this, we have a bunch of different information. So let's say for Kingston, you can see all these symbols, and this will just determine what types of reactors you're getting. So for instance, if we're looking at Echo Swamp and we're looking at the first reactor, this is a chill reactor drop with general rounds and another symbol at the end that you'll probably have a hard time looking at. But if you go back to the last menu, which is the first menu we get in from our map, this gives you more detailed information on where this stuff is dropping. So if we go to Echo Swamp and we look through the different sections of that region, so these are the different zones within the region, this is how these item drops are split up. So the drop we were specifically looking at is in Misty Woods. So these are dropping reactors at a much higher drop rate. These reactors are going to be chill based, they're going to be general rounds based, and they're going to be singular based. Now these are the different options you have for all of your different items on a reactor. So if we go look at this reactor right here, it would have a bunch of different options. Now the ammo type detailed is what the optimization condition will be at the top of this item. And basically how this works is if you're using a specific weapon type, so for in this instance a shotgun, we will get a big boost to our skill power. So it shows if you're using that specific weapon, it'll give you a big boost to skill power. If you're not, it doesn't give you any skill power boost. Then for the bottom section of this item where it says skill power boost ratio, it will have 2 different skill power boosts. So this one has a chill skill power and fusion skill power. So the item we were looking at would have chill skill power like this one has, but it would have singular skill power. Now that's an additional tag on your abilities, and it will also show your abilities at the bottom of the card, and the things that are lit up is what that reactor is currently buffing. So my reactor is chill and fusion. All 3 of my first abilities all have chill and fusion, so they're lit up, but my 4th ability only has chill, but its other modifier is not lit up because it's not a fusion skill. Now on top of all of that, you also have the stats at the bottom. This one has skill effect range and fusion skill boost ratio. Those are always going to be completely random no matter what you're farming. But reactors also work in a little bit of a different way when you go from rare quality to ultimate quality. Now the big difference between these is that ultimate quality reactors require you use an ultimate weapon to get its optimization condition. Like this one right here just requires any shotgun, but these ultimate reactors require a specific ultimate weapon. But if you're using that ultimate weapon, your skill power boost is 160% instead of 140% on the rare reactor. There's also a pretty big difference on these as well. On rare reactors, you just have to have that weapon type equipped. You don't have to be using it. So I have a shotgun equipped, but I'm not commonly using my shotgun as much as my other weapons, but I will still get the increase to my skill power because I have a shotgun equipped. On ultimate reactors, you have to actually be holding and using the ultimate weapon to get the big buff to your skill power. So pretty much the only instances you would actually want to be using an ultimate reactor is if the main weapon you're using is an ultimate weapon, then you would want to get a reactor where your optimization condition is that ultimate weapon you're using, and that's going to give you the biggest boost possible. So these menus that I think are some of the most hidden menus in the game are also going to be very important for finding specifically the reactors you're looking for, but also if you're looking for any other items. So usually if you scroll to the bottom of these lists, it'll also show you where you can go farm other items. On the Remnant right now, you can go there and it'll have a lot higher drop rate for memory, and the Aurora Forest has a lot higher drop rate for auxiliary power items. But primarily these menus are going to be searching for where you want to go farm to get the reactor you're looking for. And once you find the area you want to go farm a reactor at, pretty much anything you do in that area will just have a much higher chance to drop those specific types of reactors. You'll be spammed with them. Specifically, you'll be spammed with ultimate reactors. And as mentioned, ultimate reactors are actually going to be used a lot less, except for specific builds, but ultimate reactors are the main reactors you're getting dropped. So to farm for rare reactors, you're going to actually have to farm a bit longer. But the drop rate is so massively increased that you'll just be getting spammed with crazy amounts of reactors anyway. So you just look through these menus, look for the different items you want on your reactor, then just go to that location. You can click it, it'll also show the location, and you just go farm any mission here. You could go farm the outpost, you can go farm any of these different missions, you can farm whatever you want. Even just random enemies in the zone will have that massively increased drop rate for the items you're looking for. But that's pretty much all the information you're going to need to farm any item in the First Descendant. Get used to going into those menus and looking for the items you're actually looking for, because you're probably going to be able to much more optimally farm for exactly what you're looking for. A big part of the First Descendant is choosing an item you want to go farm for, whether it be an actual gear drop or whether it be a material to allow you to craft something to then craft a Descendant. The First Descendant is a game that wants you to go farm for a specific item pretty much at all times, and these menus are going to give you all the information you need to do that. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.